Attorneys, it's normal to dislike courtroom appearances.
And welcome to today's episode. I'm speaking, as always, with attorney Robert Graff of the Graff Standard. Rob, what are we talking about here today?
Today we're talking about how attorneys don't always have to like going to court, even though that's what we see on TV and what a lot of trial attorneys think. Every attorney likes going to court, and most customers, most clients think attorneys like going to court.
Excellent. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit here. I mean, what are the three main points we're going to try to hit in today's episode?
The first main point is that it's okay that you as an attorney do not have to live up to the expectations of what people's stereotypes of an attorney is or what TV sets for an attorney to be. The next one is you can choose to build your profession outside of a courtroom setting, as many attorneys do. And lastly, you can actually, if you want to, build a practice that requires courtroom appearances if you conquer your fears, and you can be successful at it doing so.
Excellent. This sounds like good stuff. If you're an attorney out there who has to deal with showing up in court once in a while, this sounds like it's for you. So let's take them in order and line them up and knock them down here. So expectations, absolutely, created by TV shows. I mean, I was a Law and Order fan for years in its 18,000 different versions. That's my completely unrealistic probable picture of what it's like to be an attorney. How does this work its way into the real life world of an attorney to have all these TV shows?
Well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you go to trial knowing all these things on TV, because everyone thinks, even in the jury, that they're attorneys. But that's not what we're here for. It's difficult because most attorneys out there don't go to court. They sit behind desks and they write contracts, right. And this is a very important part of the legal world. However, it's not the exciting part. And when I mean exciting, it's not. No one's going to want to watch a TV show about lawyers that sit behind desks and write and review contracts. So they show things about TV.
I think they tried to pilot a show about that once, and it just really never made it out of focus group. A bunch of guys just sitting there poring over paperwork, no drama, right?
No, it wouldn't last at all. So courtrooms is where the drama is. It's where the excitement is, for TVs. And because of this, clients, when they go to an attorney, thinks every attorney goes to court. And other attorneys that actually only practice in courtrooms. I just had a friend make a comment to me a couple days ago. He never realized that so many attorneys didn't like going to court. Mm-hmm. So it's this expectation that we as attorneys set for ourselves, and it's what the media and the public sets for us. And when we can't live up to those expectations that are not even our own, we feel disappointed in our abilities, no matter how good of an attorney we are.
Well, and Rob, help me out here, because I mean, obviously I'm not an attorney and I don't have to go to court like that, but I got to imagine it, even when you do go to court, it's probably rarely the big drama, TV show material, right? I mean, so it's not really about trying to live up to those expectations, is it?
It isn't, but at the same time, well, it's not the drama you see on TV, but at the same time you have the expectations of your clients who expect to be advocated for zealously. And then a judge might ask a question of an attorney that he doesn't know the answer to, or a client might be testifying and the cross-examination's not going well. And then this fear and this inadequacy starts to build up. And not an inadequacy in who you are, but an inadequacy in your abilities. You can prep all you want, but that swagger, that confidence that you should have in the court just isn't there.
Right, and I've heard you refer to that before in terms of this swagger kind of concept, that it really is about being a confident, strong advocate, not a Hollywood, over the top kind of scenario. But there is a certain kind of drama that does belong there, but and that's what you're helping people access and get good at and develop in the work that you're doing, right?
Exactly, and it's about selling yourself, regardless of what field you're in. You're in sales. You are trying to sell your client's point of view. So when you're up in front of a judge, if you're speaking about the law, if you're up in front of a jury speaking about the facts in the case, you're trying to sell your client's point of view. If you don't show that confidence in your client's point of view and your client's set of facts, then the jury or the judge isn't going to feel confident in what you're trying to present to them. So having that confidence, having that feeling that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is the best job for your clients really takes your courtroom appearance and your attorney like appearance, I guess, I don't know really how to put that, to the next level. It
That's
really
right.
takes that your persona to the next level. Let's put it that way.
Uh-huh.
We don't
Absolutely.
we don't have to be this angry person that yells and points all the time. But when we put on the suit, we can act that way. We can. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be our natural instinct, but it can be part of who we are when we go to court, when we're there representing our clients.
And it's a learned set of skills, right? People can learn to get better at that if this is part of the work they're going to be doing, right?
Exactly. No, nobody was good on the first day. I remember getting right before my first trial. One of the deputy DAs came up to me and said, "Are you nervous?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And she said, "Well, I'd be a little more worried if you weren't nervous."
That's right, because you'd probably be overconfident. But you're also
Exactly.
saying here today that it's normal for people not to like courtroom appearances, and you're saying it's also okay if somebody wants to try to build and kind of design their practice so they don't have to appear in court, right?
Right. Exactly. It's great. As I said, transactional attorneys, that's an important part of the legal system. However, there are many attorneys out there that do both. They are transactional, they're litigators, they're trial attorneys. They do all three. They wear many hats.
Hmm.
But if going to court isn't something that suits you, you shouldn't. I recommend you can, or I know you can build a practice based on transactional work, based on writing, based on reading, based on reviewing, that doesn't require those courtroom appearances, and you can still have a productive life as an attorney. It doesn't have to be all three if you have a small practice. If one way doesn't fit you, there are many options out there. We all study the law. We all know what works best for us. So it's okay. You're not a failure if you don't like going to court, because that's what the persona shows you. You can build a lucrative practice, and many people do, based only on the transactional work, and refer all the litigation and trial work out to other attorneys.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard you say that, I mean, that it's true that really it is actually the minority of attorneys that spend a lot of time in that sort of more dramatic role of courtroom
That's, that's,
presentation or whatever,
that's
right? I
correct. I
mean,
mean, I don't have any facts in front of me, but knowing how many attorneys there are out there and how many
right.
courtroom appearances and how many trials there actually are, there's no way they're all going to court all the time.
So there's
So,
plenty of room for people to build a solid career without having to be, on stage all the time, let's say, because I got to imagine that's part of what makes this so anxiety provoking is most people don't love public speaking or being in the spotlight or being on the spot all the time. They'd
right.
rather be able to think through their argument and make it on paper. But if you are the kind of person that has to do that at least some of the time, or if it's what you're going to really excel at, there are ways for people to get good at this, right?
And there's always room for improvement. We might have a little part of us that's not as good. Maybe our examination isn't as good. Maybe our opening statements aren't as good. There's always room for improvement to be even a better attorney and get rid of that fear. I was told if you don't use it, you lose it. Most attorneys don't go to court every day. So it's about
Right.
keeping that energy high and knowing that when you go to court, you are ready, you are prepared to put on that show that you need to put on for your clients.
And it really is a show at that point, right? I mean, there is a drama, there is a pitch that you're making, there's an engagement factor that you're trying to develop, and you're trying to win the argument, right? So
The facts are the facts, and you were trying to put them in the best light for your client or your position.
So you've identified that fear is really the obstacle here. I mean, it is that kind of stage fright essentially that we're talking about at the core of what I think is getting in people's way, right? So you're here to give people some hope that if that's you, if you're kind of finding yourself in that deer in the headlights kind of moment at the most inopportune moment, that there are ways, there are skills, there are strategies that people can learn to get better at that.
There definitely are, and there's ways to never even show that you're a deer in the headlights.
Well, that's right. Absolutely. And you're developing. You've got this program that you've been telling me about, and we're going to reveal it slowly over time a little bit in upcoming episodes. I want to make clear to people that this is part of a series that we're doing on this idea of developing a powerful courtroom appearance. So this is kind of the preliminary part of that, as we're kind of setting the stage for the fact that hey, listen, it is normal to not love being on stage. There are some rare people I've met out there who just live from they come out of the womb performing, right? But they're the exception. Most of us have to learn to get comfortable in that kind of limelight. So So.
Yeah.
Other thoughts here about as we kind of move to the close of this episode about
Well,
this.
it's about there is a program and it's individualized for each person that I work with because each person has their own different fears and their own different concerns about how they're performing in court.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we've been talking today about the fact that it is normal to dislike this, and that TV it kind of sets this expectation and makes people have even more of that stage fright. But you've covered three main points here today. That you don't have to live up to those expectations. Heck, you can actually decide that you're not going to make that the core of your practice. You can build a solid practice that doesn't really involve courtroom appearances. But you can also build a practice that does if you can learn to conquer your fear and develop that swagger. I love the way you're calling it, that courtroom swagger. So if people want more, Rob, I mean, they should sign up right below here and get on the list so that they get future episodes. But I know that you're working with people directly in a coaching vein, and you've got a pretty cool offer. When people sign up here, they're going to get a discounted opportunity to take an assessment tool that you use called the Energy Leadership Index. I know other people charge over $400 for this, but you're offering this at a pretty darn steep discount, right? And all they got to do is get on the list to find out about that, right?
That's right.
That's all there is to it, folks. Sign up right below here. Get the future upcoming episodes here in the rest of this series. Get on Rob's mailing list and find out how you can get a very deep discount on the Energy Leadership Index. That's it for now. Until next time, Rob, thanks.
Have a good one.